everybody. John from Debbie Sunny Hive, here to talk about the murder hornet. Murder hornet. Come on. What a name to give it. Well, I guess it sells advertising. Anyway, it's a Vespa mandarina, and if I'm saying it right, and it's the Asian giant hornet. And they say it might have came to the United States into Washington, the state. I've heard no reports from beekeepers or anything like that, and I'm in touch with many of having a problem. So I would say the problem in the whole United States is little to none at this point, because I'm not hearing a thing. As far as them being dangerous to humans, they want nothing to do with humans. They want nothing to do with your pets or anything, so you don't have to like hide, scared, oh my God, what's going to happen? But like anything, they will defend themselves. So if they're threatened, in other words, you're squishing one or whacking one or something, or if you get to their nest, which they like to burrow in the ground, taking over rodent holes and stuff like that, I would say like chipmunks, ground squirrels, things like that, is where they make their nest, is in the ground. And naturally, you step on one of them or something, they're coming out to defend their home, just like my beehives will do. Now, take one of my honey beehives. If I happen to just take and go into a beehive without smoking them, they're going to protect their home, and they're going to attack me. So it's like that on a rainy day, cold day, nighttime. Never go in a beehive. I always go in during the day when it's usually sunny and warm. All the foragers are out, and I give them a little smoke, let them know I'm coming, and I'm able to work with the bees no problem. But other than that, they will defend themselves, and they will sting multiply. And so with that being said, as far as a beekeeper goes, how we can protect ourselves and protect our hives, any ideas I came up with, like probably all the beekeepers are, is how to keep the hornet from going in the hive. As you saw in the beginning of the video, you see an opening there to that hive, which the hornet can go into no problem. So what I was thinking was, if we had, this is just a metal screen, which we use in the fall to keep, in the wintertime, to keep the mice from going through, but the bees can still go in and out of. And I don't know how big this hornet is, if it can fit through here or not. If it does, maybe a smaller screen, but we could still get the bee through. That might be a solution. Doing something with our entrance to the hives is a solution. Stopping them from entering the beehive itself, but still allowing the bee to come and go. The other thing is protect the beekeeper. They claim that our suits aren't going to do it, so I'm assuming an upgrade in suits is going to have to happen if this ever does happen and take off, which pray that it never does, is a heavier bee suit, which already these things in the summertime is hot. I can't imagine having to wear something even heavier just because of a hornet. So the hornet, it likes to live in wooded, valley type areas. Like I said, it burrows in the ground. It doesn't like high plains. This stuff I've looked up, I've researched. The thing with me is wondering how this thing even got here. So I could see one or two hitching a ride and making and living to get here, okay? But I can't imagine how a breeding hive could get to the United States. That would take a queen, it would take workers, it would take, I'm assuming, a drone wasp for fertilization. And being they live in the ground, I don't see how that colony can make its way here. But I'll leave that up in the air for anybody else to decide how this thing is getting here. We already got a lot of problems when it comes to honeybees. We have the varroa mite, which was, I believe, 1983. That came from Asia. That thing has wiped out more bees in this country than any other problem the bees have. We have to medicate and eradicate these things. It's costly, it's time consuming, it's stressful on the bees, but it's something we have to do. You lose the bees. These mites attach themselves to the bees, they attach themselves to the larva, they suck the blood out of the bee, and your colony dies. And there's only the pesticide type situation we have to use. Doesn't hurt the bee, but it gets the mite, and we do that. And it's a pain. The other thing we have is the hive beetle. Came from Africa, I believe, in '93. So there's another thing we got, and they'll take over a hive and run all over the place in that hive and just take over the cells and lay larvae of their own, and our queen won't have any place to lay, and it'll be over. So we take care of that. It's a funny thing, we used to take care of that, at least I do. I use a Swifter sheet, the one kind you use to dust the floors with, and I put it in the hive, and the bees will chase these beetles around and try to corner them. They can't kill them or do anything to them, but those beetles will get stuck in the Swifter sheet. So that helps, and it gets a lot of them. It actually does. So these are things we already got a problem with, and we don't need. We got wax moths. There's another problem, and we don't need another problem. So this is potentially, hopefully, we're coming to it early, and we can do something about it and eradicate this situation. Now, I would say there's a way of, these things have a radius from their hive of 5 miles in that area, 4 to 5 miles. So if I'm on the outside of the radius, the farthest away one of them could be is 5 miles from me. So say, for instance, they were here and I was having a problem with them, is we track bees and try to find their original hives, wild bees, in this method. You put down something the bees like, sugar syrup, whatever, and wild bees will come along. You catch a wild bee, and we mark the back of the wild bee. Then we let the bee go, and we watch what direction it goes in, and we time it, because the bee is going to come back. That bee is going to go deposit the syrup in its home hive and come back. And we'll time that, and there's a formula for that, to give and take how far, and when you see the bee take off, what direction it goes in. Then we would walk closer and closer and do the same process with the bee coming back, mark another bee, send that one out, it'll come back, and eventually we can track it to their original hive. You might be able to do almost the same situation with this, where you capture one of these things, you mark it, it's going to come back, or it's going to stay here, do what it's got to do, it's going to take off, but it's going to come back to what it thinks is their food source. And again, we can time that and see what direction they're going in, and maybe be able to track it down and find that hive and eradicate it, which is going to be most likely in the ground. From what I understand, that's what it is. But as far as worrying about it, I wouldn't worry about this thing. I can't believe what I'm seeing on the news. You turn on the news, it isn't the one thing we're already dealing with. There's this giant freaking hornet on my TV screen. Now, that's terrible. Okay, I could see putting it out, blah, 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 but it's overhyped. I hear no beekeepers having a problem. They found 1 or 2 or something in Washington. Thought I heard something about a nest and they eradicated it. And again, how could that even get here from Asia or wherever? An entire colony. Because it would have to be the entire colony, because it'd have to be a mated queen. She would have to have workers, foragers, to keep going. It can't just be a worker and comes here and can start a hive. It can't. They have to have all that. They have to have the queen, they have to have the drone, they have to have the workers. So, again, I don't know how that's possible that could even come here. And if it's been around for thousands of years and such, or whatever, in Japan, in Korea, why is it now? Why is it now? It's had a lot of time to come here somehow. So all of a sudden now it's here. So I would say it's nothing to worry about, and we'll keep an eye on it and see what happens. In the meantime, I'm going to enjoy my bees, and I'm going to keep my ear to the news, not the news, no, to the beekeepers around the country, and see what's going on. And until next time, if you like the video and you want some more information on certain things to do with bees, hit the bell, hit the subscribe button. Much appreciate it. Leave comments. I don't know everything there is to know about this thing. I looked some stuff up. That's what I found. And I hope it was helpful. Okay, till next time. John from Debbie's Honey Hive. I got to get to the bees.